Welcome back to the Conversation Program. This is Lesson 4, Your Interests. Conversation begins in sharing your interest with others. The number one problem I hear from men when we talk about being able to hold conversations is, I don't know what to say next. This has always sounded completely ridiculous to me because everybody has plenty of things to talk about. We all walk around all day with our heads full of unique thoughts and observations. But the problem is you're either not in the habit of sharing what you're interested in talking about, or you're not in the habit of asserting yourself in the conversation and defining the topic. Let's talk about reactive people versus proactive people. Reactive people wait for the other person to define the topic to be discussed. They generally often agree with whatever's being said and occasionally share a thought of their own. And typically they only do it if it affirms or relates to what the other person just said to them. This is the classic nice guy syndrome. This is being agreeable with everything. And this is basically just being a follower, following whatever the person in front of you is saying or doing. On the other hand, proactive people regularly define the topic of conversation and control what they want to discuss. Proactive people are not afraid to disagree with someone or to confront somebody about something. Two reactive people, if they talk, tend to have very dull conversations that don't go anywhere or discuss anything important or that interesting. They tend to agree with each other even if they don't, or they avoid confrontation or contentious or controversial subjects. This is when two people meet, they'll talk about the weather, talk about how hot it is outside and agree with each other, and then they'll talk about, how it's such a shame that gas prices are high, and they'll blah, blah, blah for 10, 20 minutes. If this is what most of your conversations are like, this means that you're reactive and you're interacting primarily with other reactive people. Two proactive people will have an engaging and vibrant conversation on whichever topics are most important to them. They will not hesitate to disagree or voice their own opinions, and ultimately they communicate much more effectively because they're emotionally invested in what they're saying. The facts. Most people in the world are reactive conversationalists. Therefore, if you're reactive, you're going to have difficulty connecting with most people. Training yourself to become more proactive will make you more engaging, more exciting, and will inspire people to become more emotionally invested in their relationship with you. Proactive people are leaders. Reactive people are followers. Proactive people regularly risk rejection and confrontation, but by and large attract people to them like a magnet. It all begins in curiosity. Most people walk around with a large gap between what they think about and what they actually speak about. Our goal of this lesson is to begin to make that gap smaller and smaller, and eventually, hopefully that gap will completely disappear. So here are what interests me. Politics, economics, finance, entrepreneurship, people's childhoods and relationships with their parents, ambition, trying to achieve something, people who think they can change the world, social dynamics, emotional development, self-development, traveling, cultural backgrounds, people who have overcome or are struggling through major obstacles in their lives, music, the evolution of music, movie industries, concerts, movies and good television shows that make commentary on society or that are satirical, love, relationships, sex, and of course, partying. Now, this list I sat down and probably took me about 5 minutes to put together. Most people I've found that I've worked with, you tell them to sit down and write what their favorite things to talk about are, and they write 2 or 3 things down and then run out of things. Again, this comes back to curiosity. We want to tap into your curiosity as much as possible. Now, a lot of you have maybe suppressed your curiosity a little bit because being too curious tends to make one more proactive. And if one is afraid of being confrontational, one generally avoids a lot of curiosity. So a big part of this exercise, and I'm going to have you do a list like this at the end of this lesson, big part of the exercise is to tap into that curiosity and find things that you are interested in and that you are curious about and that you do care about, but you maybe have never shared with anybody, or perhaps you've never even shared with yourself. So take 10 minutes and write down everything that interests you. If you can't think of more than a few things, then take the rest of the time to figure out what topics or things you would like to know more about. Then, Go out and talk to 3 people about items on your list. Write about the experience.